we have actually borrowed a lot, not from your model, but more from the principles which govern skilling in Europe, but Germany in particular. So you would have realized the need for a clean India. We have started what is called Swachh Bharat. Swachh Bharat translates as Clean India. To the Clean India mission, we now award prizes. Mysore, which you may visit, are they going to Mysore?
I think they have a plan next weekend.
Yes. For was, not now, but it used to be among the earliest clean cities. Today we have others who have overtaken. So we have introduced a competition between cities on a cleanliness drives. So Swachh Bharat is one such campaign. Almost every Indian has a bank account today. The State Bank of India is probably the largest banking network in any single country. Every village has a bank. The SBI is our flagship banking system. We have a number of other banks as well. And every Indian now has a Jan Dhan account. It's a bank account like any other. Most of our benefits today are given through bank accounts. This was not the case earlier. So for us it is something revolutionary that we start giving. We call what is called the direct benefits transfer. We transfer all social benefits through the bank account. During the COVID crisis, we had our own version of the migrant crisis, not the migrant crisis which you are facing, but our migrant crisis was that people from different parts of India work in manufacturing sector in other parts of India. For example, you have laborers from Jharkhand, which is in the north of India, coming and working in Bangalore or in Coimbatore in the manufacturing industry. You have workers from Belgaum, let us say, which is to the western side of Karnataka, coming and working in Bangalore or in Delhi in the services sector. So you have migration of people within the country. When COVID came and lockdown was declared, all industry came to a standstill for a while, and this happened all over the world. And then we had these laborers, the workers, who could not afford to stay in the city without earning their wages. And for some time, the government had to support them by giving some kind of cash support. And this way, at that time I was Additional Chief Secretary Labour, and we did this through the bank accounts. That we released the money through the bank accounts to the workers all over the country, not all over the country, all over the state. But the opening of this many bank accounts itself was something revolutionary. It used to be largely a hand cash based economy. Today we are migrating to a more digital and a structural economy. We have had, I told you about the liberalization, privatization, globalization paradigm. And when we adopted that, we also did away with the license permit Raj. And this meant ease of doing business. And in ease of doing business, one very large part was the relaxation of a very tight labor law regime. So I told you that when India got independence, socialism was all over the world, it had captured the imagination. We were also very keen on labor rights. Today we are adopting a more realistic pattern where the labor is protected, but business is not affected because of that. So that can be done through a series of small changes which we are doing. But one major change is that 29 labor laws are now being codified into 4 codes, which makes it easier for industry to comply with the regulations. We have brought uniformity of taxation through GST. This again has been a journey. We used to have a system where all over the country you used to have a different pricing regime, then different taxation regimes, and then this was indirect tax. Right? This is GST relates to indirect tax. Then we adopted what is called MRP. So maximum retail price. So there was uniformity of pricing. Then we adopted VAT, value added tax, and finally we have come to GST, where there is a uniform taxation, indirect taxation regime all over the country. And then now we are thinking, this is our second major experiment in revamping education. The first was in 1986. Now in 2020 we have adopted the new education policy, which is aligning Indian higher education with practices in North America and the West, making it easier for students basically to migrate from one discipline to another in a more seamless way than has been possible so far. Next.